Guys, good morning and thanks for talking to me today. How are you?
Good morning.
Really nice. Really glad to see you and to talk to you.
Yeah, I still feel like I'm watching you on YouTube.
Yes. Yes.
I'm so used to that.
Is it real?
I do exist, yes. um, uh, Guys, first of all, I'm very excited to have you on this chat because soon you're going to be speaking at the event which we're organizing in Cluj. This is in Romania and Transylvania. Have you ever been to Cluj?
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
I think I have two cousins there.
Okay.
And Timișoara, where we are working from, is not that far. I mean, it's about 3 hours or so from Cluj.
Let's just clarify for everybody who's never been to Transylvania, you do not have vampires there, right?
No,
No.
definitely not.
Good.
Unfortunately.
At least that's what we tell strangers or foreigners.
Yeah, sure. Come to Transylvania. There are no vampires here.
Yeah,
I'm just
no.
afraid that some people might be scared, you know?
Yeah, I think they will be pleasant surprised to see that they won't die, and their blood will be in their core.
Very
But-
excited to have BARBAR on the show. This is a young company that is been emerging lately. I guess that you guys have been doing this for a while. But why don't you introduce yourself and tell me a little bit more about the who you are, what you do, and then we're gonna try and break it down together. How you started, how you got to where you are, and we can tell a little bit of your story. And maybe people can have a preview of what they can expect when they're gonna be at the event in Cluj.
Sure, sounds great.
Well, we are the two co-founders of BARBAR, and we have 4 more employees. So we are a team of 6. And I think we can bring this perspective of a smaller or younger studio to the conference, and how we do things, maybe how we manage to exist in this industry. And I don't know what to say.
We started in 2019, I think, in the mid of that year. We emerged with the help of some European funding. So it was a startup program, and it sounded really interesting to us. So we wanted to enter it. There was a bit of an entrepreneurship mentorate before, and that was really helpful.
Yes.
But we were doing this for a longer period in different companies, in architecture companies, in university. We ourselves participated in a lot of
Architectural competitions.
and
We did a bit of freelancing.
We did a bit of freelancing in 3D modeling, in rigging, animation, and connected services. And it sounded like a good idea to start our own company.
Okay, and this was around the COVID time, basically.
Yeah.
So, was it easy during COVID? Was it hard to get your first clients? How did you do that?
No, we were always kind of panicking like everybody else, because there was a lot of panic in general. But I think we just stayed optimistic, and we had the luck that we had projects. We had even an office here in our city who trusted us with some images.
Yeah, right from the beginning.
Right from the beginning. We also did a lot of interiors at the beginning, which were, I think, easier or we saw them as easier before taking on like big scale exteriors. So we kind of learned while we were doing it. So
yeah. And I personally don't think COVID affected us that much. But it was a good time to put in perspective what we want from our company and what type of clients do we want, and what's the direction the path we are going.
Tell me a little bit about the entrepreneurship mentorship that you got in the beginning. What did it consist of, and how did it help you, to move your first steps into the archivist?
I think it was very helpful with the framework of dealing with all the bureaucracy and dealing with the institutions and all of this behind the scenes stuff that nobody really teaches you. That is the boring stuff or the stuff that is not artistic. So we had to learn how to pay taxes, how to talk to an accountant, how to make a business plan, even though it was not in the end very exact. So, but it was helpful to have.
Definitely.
To think about costs, also the costs of it really forced us to think about how much the equipment cost, how much the licenses cost, how much we should charge so that we are even, so that we can actually keep on doing this. So that was very, very helpful to have in the beginning.
Sure. We have spreadsheets that tell us the state of our company every day, and it's necessary in order to survive long term.
This is where a lot of artists struggle, right? Because they see numbers as an end to the business, where actually this is a tool just like 3ds Max, right?
Yeah, it's a radiography of your business, which is essential.
Yeah.
Because you can find yourself in a difficult spot and you don't know what it's causing it.
Yeah.
What's the cause of that position?
I'm very glad that you're bringing this up, because I do think that, still, we have had this conversation for many years now, and there is the general belief that, if you do good work, then everything will be fine. But I guess that this is a very harsh way to simplify the problem of running a studio, right?
Unfortunately, it's not the case, because you dream about some giant client seeing your work and talking to you and approaching you and offering to pay you a lot of money to do your great work, but it's not the case.
You have to put yourself out there, and we are constantly thinking about how to write to clients, how to search for new projects. And it's, to be honest, it's still not easy. It's still something we think about a lot.
Yeah.
And we have had the luck of having our clients approach us, but we also try to reach out to many companies, and also to reach out to companies that we like and we would like to work with.
I think that's very important, because you have to think about it long term. Will you enjoy doing this 5 years after, or 10 years? I don't know. And also, we are trying a lot of strategies in approaching your clients. Some work, some don't, and it's a trial and error. It's
sometimes, when I talk to my clients, when I do consultations for the business side of architecture visualization, one thing that I like to remind my clients is that just as you try to be creative with the work that you do, this is also something that you can put a lot of creative energy into, finding different solutions and different ways to approach new clients, new possibilities. And I do think that this is also very beautiful and very challenging. It doesn't have to be happening everything into a software, like the modifiers and the materials. No, there is this whole chunk of work that can also be very creative.
Yeah, it's just like we have the entrepreneurship part which is a huge chunk of the studio. We also have the marketing part, which is also a very important part of the studio. And then the artistic part is maybe equally, but just one part of this bigger
Yeah.
picture. And to be honest, we are also still discovering our marketing strategy. We are still experimenting, and as you say, it can be something creative. It can be something fun to learn how to put yourself out there and reach people. And yeah.
I think till now, naturally, we went to the competition side of the business. We have a lot of competition, very tight deadlines with very demanding clients and so on. But we also like doing real estate. But we didn't have. I mean, in the beginning, we had a lot of orders from that side.
Yeah.
But in the late years,
not so much.
Not so much. We focus mainly on competitions.
But maybe it's something we would like to explore more of. So
they're two completely different animals.
Yes. So in our case, we are very. We have to be one direction at a time because we are a small studio. But we would like to find a way to branch into both directions.
Yeah.
Regarding the marketing thing that you just mentioned, I think that you are in a lucky spot because like you understand marketing as marketing people do, and this is an advantage because sometimes I do see offices that they start out and they try to do their own thing and they produce very high quality work, and then they say, okay, let's bring somebody from marketing. And then the vision that the marketing person will have about business development will be way too detached from the core offering of a company. And so they find themselves struggling because they say, no, this is what we do. What you're saying, it's totally unrelated. When actually, you should always be considering every single possibility of enlarging your business. And so you guys having this understanding from the partners side of things, it's already a big advantage because I know studios that don't like to move in different directions simply because they think that their vision should be unique and should be like cemented only on one rail, right, in one direction. And I think that this is a big advantage for you guys.
Yes. It's a temptation to go on that way. I mean, I think we all start thinking of Mir or these well-established offices, but it's a long path to reach.
To get there.
And I think it's a mistake to go only in that narrow direction from the beginning.
Do you guys remember your first project or any project where you were like, okay, we fucked up big time? That's a lesson for life.
Our first project was with, I worked on it. It was with a Romanian developer here, and we were working in V-Ray at the time. And I remember there was one setting that was off, and the whole render was taking like 16 hours. And we had to debug everything to find that one. It was, I think, the subdivision value of a glass that was way too high, and it was causing some computation times that were crazy.
Yeah.
So it tells you something about how we started and how we had to figure out and really bump into everything to learn and get.
Yeah, definitely.
Farther,
There have been many trials and errors, but I think we haven't missed any deadline, so that's a really good positive thing.
We have not.
We have developed a strategy, but in the beginning, it was really, really difficult from the technical part of the job, to say, because you didn't know everything. And we started with we had prior experience in visualization offices, but very, very little. We mostly started from zero.
Yes.
And from our own, self-teaching.
Yeah, we
self-taught. And it was difficult in the beginning, but also it helped us develop our own way of doing things. We didn't have to say borrow from other offices that much. We developed our own approach.
Yes.
Tell me, so for somebody who would like to work for you, what are the kind of things that you look for in an artist? And maybe later on you can also expand a little bit on what you think an artist should be doing and what are the levels that you consider for an artist, to be a junior, a mid, a senior, and what it is that you expect them to do.
That was a good question. I think the main thing that we look for is their desire to be in this industry. And if someone really wants to do this or is passionate about it, then we don't care so much about the level they come with, because we have already a structure that we can give them that will, or like you said, we have a bit of a standard that we can give them so that they can make okay images. And then I don't know, they come with different types of experience. In our city, it's not so easy to find already prepared good CG artists. So we take people who are not maybe
that don't have any prior experience in this field.
But it's very important to have this passion for the field or just interest in the field.
Yeah. And also what we discovered is that many people that come to us don't really know exactly what we are doing. I mean, they see that we are doing architectural images, but I think they mostly think we are doing 3D modeling, a lot of complicated texturing,
technical stuff.
Very technical stuff. And no, I'm saying we are doing architectural visualization. We are not only a media company or and so on.
I don't know if you have seen this, but especially when they start out, people think that it's a lot about the tools, about knowing 3ds Max and about knowing how to 3D model the most complicated thing. And actually, the real challenge is not that. It's the artistic part, it's the vision, it's the...
For a junior coming to us or a starter, we would like to see passion in them, definitely. That's the most important criteria. It's to be passionate about this and to want to be a highly skilled artist.
And to want to learn, basically, because in this industry, you have to constantly want to learn for yourself how to be better.
You shouldn't only limit yourself to the office time spent. I mean, you can learn at your house. You can watch different tutorials. You can try different things at home. So it's an ongoing thing. It's a part of your life. And for a senior, I mean, one senior should be able to take the responsibility of a project, and we can trust them. And so we have minimal involvement, so we can
do our own images,
do our own projects, and
I think that we need to make a little, we need to clarify some things with what you just said. Being an artist, it's a privilege, meaning you get to do a type of work that not a lot of people do in terms of passion, love, and the proverbial do what you love, living your dream and stuff. People do associate these things with wealth, money, freedom. No. When you work in this field, you do something that you like, but it's only one thing. All of the other things you sort of have to sacrifice for a very big chunk of your career, simply because you need to get really, really good at what you do in order to be able to do it. So, I think that this is important for those who are watching from home, because, maybe a young graduate thinking, okay, so they're expecting me to work from home on my images.
No, no. I thought that was misunderstanding, but actually we do not work over.
No. But that's not what I meant. The thing is that I've been in this industry now for 18 years, and when I have a little bit of downtime, even though right now I'm working off a laptop because I do other things, I still spend time in Blender
Yeah,
making renderings that like nobody's paying me for, but it's that fire that burns inside that
yeah,
wants you,
exactly.
and so you need to have that. And this is not because you should be working extra or anything. It's
No,
just because
no.
it's who we are.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be just that. It can be an interest in photography, for example,
Yeah,
or you can go study classical paintings in your free time.
yeah.
Just whatever makes you better in this industry
Yeah.
is also what should interest you to your core in a way.
Yeah. You should be always perceptive of what's happening around you, and to see different beautiful things that an
Yes.
artist sees in
That kind of
in
stuff.
the
And
everyday world.
And like you said in the beginning, you do sacrifice time or you sacrifice in other areas, but it gets easier. So you
Yeah.
become better and it gets easier, and it takes a shorter time to make an image than it did in the beginning. So
Yeah, definitely.
you can have this life and work balance
Yeah.
as well.
I also want to say another thing. There are probably some graduate students right now that are in university, and maybe they have seen the images, and so they watch these interviews thinking, okay, how long will it take for me to make the jump and everything. Um, like a lot of graduate students, they learn Rhino, they learn Revit, they learn AutoCAD, which is a freaking dinosaur of a
Yes,
software.
yes.
And it's a complicated one. Like AutoCAD, like you need to know a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Recently, I was at the Brick Masterclass in Budapest, and I had to use 3ds Max after 17 years that
Wow.
I never opened it, and it,
Wow.
it took me literally like 10 minutes to figure out the basics and be able to set cameras, move around, move the sky, the sun, and all this stuff. A young graduate that is starting from scratch, I think that all they need is a week.
Hmm.
Once
Yeah.
they have a week in 3ds Max, they'll be proficient.
Yes.
Sure.
Because the technical part of things is already becoming more accessible, and
Yeah.
especially the younger generations, they are even a lot better than us at catching on to everything new. So that's not an issue. It depends on you how fast you progress. But I think the other part is more important. That's not so easy to grasp, or the artistic part, the vision,
Yeah.
the concept,
Yeah.
that's what really brings value, we think.
Yes. It's not enough just to know just to technically know
A
a
program.
software. It's really not enough, and
Yeah.
that's the hardest part to tell young graduates or undergraduates that are.
By the way, when I say the week, that includes all the crashes, yeah?
The
Yes.
crashes, yes.
Yes. And especially, I mean, for us with the 3ds Max we are using for us, it's very narrow compared to its whole capabilities. So it shouldn't be that hard at
No,
all.
I would not worry, because I think if there is a want, like I was saying, if you want to do this, you can do this, but
Yeah.
you have to really want to.
You use the full version of 3ds Max, or do you have your own one?
The full.
Is it? Do you have the option to have a
Oh
limited?
yeah. Like 3ds Max is built in a way that you can actually remove trays from the software, and so you can
I
like
understand.
remove entire bits that you never use.
Yeah.
And I was in some offices a few times where they really stripped it to the point that 3ds Max would open in a minute, which is a miracle. And they only had like presets and everything that would allow them to make just simple, simple visualizations like renderings and basic animations, and then all the rest was not there because it's a massive software and it's very heavy. But actually, let me ask you a little bit about your workflow. How do you, like, when you start a project, the client contacts you and then you establish a channel of communication, you get the information, you produce the work. Can you walk me a little bit through the way that you guys do things?
Sure. So I think the most important thing is to figure out what the deadline is.
Yes.
Very important.
And according to that, I mean, we can tailor a process. We have our own process, which involves, of course, looking for angles and moods in the beginning of the project. We usually try to do that. I mean, some clients come with their own views or angles, but we usually
we suggest
we look more for them to, because I think we have more experience in that direction. And after that, the client chooses the one or maybe, let's say, two options that will move forward. And we start detailing as much as possible the preview images. And after that, we deliver the final images at full resolution.
And we have another round or two of comments.
Of small adjustments and revisions.
So usually we have like 3 rounds of comments for an image. And what's very important, even before choosing the angles or exploring the angles, is understanding the brief. Because with clients, they say something, but it's very hard to really understand what they want, what they mean, what they need. And that's also part of the job, is seeing even beyond the brief. So we have to, and then being creative with how we come with solution to the brief, because that's what really sells the image. Like I think you were saying that you have to do honest work and you have to show them that you care about their project more than they care about their project. So
and definitely we are always asking for a detailed brief to understand the project as much
and for references we ask
references, yes,
because we have had cases where we made a good image that we know was good, but they didn't like it because in their mind they had all these references of different types of looks. And then when we got those references, we made the image in that look and they liked it. So you can never know what they have in mind.
A midday atmosphere looks different for different clients.
Yes.
So you have to understand what they are looking for in a midday atmosphere, or a dusk, or a morning, or a
so communication is important.
Communication from the right beginning.
Do you use any specific tool for communication? Like, do you like to keep them on a Slack channel, for instance, or is it emails and phone calls enough?
We've been using Miro lately.
Miro, yes.
If you know emails.
I think email is the main communication channel. We are a bit old school in this way, but we also used Skype, Miro, Slack. At some point.
Sometimes WhatsApp. Whatever the client is comfortable with. So.
Yes, but I think we like email more because it gives a bit of a structure for the communication. So it's easier to refer to a certain email or a certain
Yeah, sometimes certain things can get lost in quick communication channels.
Yes.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think that's important. And we also had the case that we received a very far from final 3D model, but the deadline was in, 5 days, and we had to figure out a way in which we will replace what they will be sending 2 days before the deadline, but still advance with the images and moods and so on. So yeah, we have these chaotic projects as well. They are not the best, but they are definitely challenging.
It's the nature of the job.
Yes, exactly.
Yes, but we always, I mean, we I don't know, let's say appoint a project from for 2 or 3 months ahead, but the clients usually don't respect the deadline for the final 3D model we set, and we always run a bit behind.
It always happens, but I think this is the case in a lot of industries. So,
on average, how long does it take for you to produce an image? When it's let's say a small, medium-sized project, say 5, 6 images all together. How long does this stay in your pipeline? How long would you like to deal with that?
I don't think there's an easy answer because it depends on the starting point. It depends on how good the brief is, how final the model is, how clear the client is in what they want. Because we can say, okay, we will do it in 3 days if everything is clear, but it's never clear. So it takes as much time as they need to clarify what they want, because in the end we are always happy to go back and do rounds of comments if the end result is something they love. But I don't know, usually the deadline settles it. So
I could say that on the average for a medium small project for 4, 5 images it would take a week or so on an average.
It's every time that I hear somebody saying, yeah, we will do the images in 3 days, all of a sudden I hear in my head the voice from the cartoon Bob Sponge, 3 months later.
Yes. Yes. Well, I mean, dealing with the competitions, I don't know, luckily or unluckily, you don't have this opportunity. I mean, with real estate projects, yes, of course, the deadline is a bit flexible and so on. But with competition, the deadline you have to somehow.
Sometimes we have a week for 3 images. Sometimes we have a week for 10 images. Yeah. So you know how it is.
Sometimes we go a month for 3 images because the client is not sure, and
yes, and they need more rounds. They need more exploring. They need to revise the design. They need to yes.
Yeah.
Do you manage to keep the costs controlled when this happens, or do you expect the client to have to pay extra if the changes are taking too long, if the project changes completely? How does that work?
So we usually try to charge extra and to explain to clients that it's not our fault that the brief wasn't clear from the beginning, and we
have this. Usually, we have these 3 rounds of comments that we negotiate that are included in the price, and then usually they will understand that okay, we are doing this 5th, 6th, and more rounds of comments, and we have to charge extra then.
Yeah, and sometimes we charge hourly for this revision. Sometimes we just charge the extra revision itself.
But this also helps because they know that they are running out of rounds of comments, so they will be more specific, or they really concentrate to be very specific with what they want, so that they don't have to pay more. So it's a good tool to manage this.
Yeah, it's a good tool to control the project, not just from the money side of the issue.
Guys, let me paddle back a little bit because, I took you away from a previous question with another question. Let me help me understanding what is it that you look for in an artist seniority? Like, what do you expect a junior, a mid, or a senior to do? Or is this something that you don't look for because for you it's only about passion? Like, do you have positions where you know that you need somebody maybe a little bit more senior? What do you
Yeah.
expect that person to bring to the office when they
We,
come,
we
say,
have
as a senior?
we actually have now two other colleagues that we consider seniors, and the main requirement is that they can be given an image and they have full responsibility and control, and they can deal with the technical parts. They can manage deadlines, or so they can meet the deadlines. They understand the challenges. They can overcome them by themselves. But this all takes, I think it takes experience, because even though a junior knows a lot of things, they can run into something that will completely block them. So I don't know, they are still not so experienced to be able to overcome whatever arises and meet the deadline. I think that is most important.
Experience really equals to the ability of making good, sound decisions, right?
Yes, exactly. Because also we have seen in a junior that they are very passionate, but then they spend 2 days modeling one chair, and then they lose sight of the whole image. So with experience, you kind of know exactly how much time you can put into each little thing, and then you know that, okay, this I will not make this cool material for the road. I will do it quickly in Photoshop because I don't have time. So you have to be very strategic, I think.
Yeah, you should be an expert in time management.
Yeah.
As a senior, definitely.
Because it's very important.
Let me ask you another question, because I believe that there might be some people watching this and liking you guys and relating to the vibe that you're sending out. You probably will be looking for artists at a certain point. I don't know if you're already looking for artists. Tell me a little bit about the city of Iași. You live there. If somebody's thinking to apply at your work, what can they expect from you and from the city living in Romania? Because I do think that there is a lot of positive energy coming out from Romania right now, a lot of new realities that sort of contrast the narrative that has been going on up until now in Europe, where Romania is Eastern Europe, it's behind and everything. Yeah. I know a lot of offices that are doing a lot of cool stuff. Friends of mine who live in Bucharest, Cluj, tell me things that are happening there that I'm like, wait a second, hold on.
Well, we live in Timișoara.
Oh, sorry, I thought Iași. I apologize.
No problem. So it's in the western part of Romania, and it recently, I think last year, was
European culture capital.
Capital. So it developed a lot in this cultural area recently. And from our point of view, it's a really high quality. You can have a really high quality life living here.
Yes.
It's not that crowded. A lot of green spaces, a lot of cool historic places.
Yes.
I don't know, the whole center part of the city is really nice and quite different from other cities. The people are laid back and friendly, and I think it has a lot of potential.
And we have visited a lot of cities in Europe, and I think it's, at this point it's very comparable. The way people live is very
sure
similar to any other European city. So
and especially it depends on in the field that you work in. For example, if you were to work in administration, you would have a lot of frustrations.
Yes.
But working in this type of liberal industry, I think you don't really feel it. so you can live freely and enjoy your life here and all the cool things you can do.
And also the fact that you know so many cities in Romania is already impressive.
I can tell you, like, I was very surprised with the fact that everybody speaks English.
Yeah. We should have mentioned that.
It's a big deal because, like, you go to very Western European countries and people still struggle with the language. That helps because it allows you to feel a little bit less of a barrier. Romanian people are very friendly. Like, it felt extremely easy for me to go and talk to people and make friends, and so this is an aspect that I liked. Would you say that life is expensive in Timișoara?
I wouldn't say that. I mean, especially rents. Rents are really cheap here compared to Western Europe
or at least cheaper.
Are cheaper, definitely. Going out is not that. I mean, it's comparable. We just went recently in Paris and were a bit shocked that for more or less the same meal, we paid, let's say, 15% more in Paris than Timișoara.
So,
which was a bit strange.
Yeah.
And but
food is not so cheap, but maybe other aspects are better, like healthcare, I think, is cheaper. Rent is a bit cheaper than you would expect.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, and
gym memberships.
I wanted to ask. This is
deal breaker. So you get a gym membership for the equivalent of 100 euros for 3 months, which is a very good price, I think.
Yeah.
Guys, believe it or not, we're approaching the deadline.
Oh no!
Wonderful.
Let me just ask you, any plans for the future with your company? What are some of the things that you're trying to achieve in the short and long term?
Yeah, do you want to answer?
Well, I think on the long term, we really want to see which could be our niche, or the area in which we think we can add the most value to our clients, and that sort of makes us unique.
Yes, because we've been doing a bit of everything, and we would like to specialize maybe in one type of market, or in maybe.
I think that would be it. Or maybe we can just spread out in
more directions.
More directions. I don't know, but I think that that would be one of our goals in the long term. In the short term, I don't know. Maybe figuring out how to reach clients better.
Yes.
Understanding their needs as best as we can.
Reach more clients.
Find interesting and passionate artists that can join our team, have the projects to sustain them, and to gradually grow into a really, high-end studio. Yeah.
Guys, I'm very excited to get to know you. Now it's going to be like 3 weeks, maybe less, the time that we're going to publish this video. It was lovely meeting you and talking to you, and I look forward to see what you guys have to say on the stage in Cluj. I'm gonna stop the recording now. I want to thank you so much for taking the time, and I want to thank the people at home watching these videos. Don't go anywhere so that I can say goodbye, but thanks a lot for taking the time to talk to me.
Thank you for having us. It was really nice. It was really nice.